Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Hawaii Weather Watch. Today is August 23rd, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. We now have Tropical Storm Hone out here. It is in the Central Pacific Hurricane Center area of forecast, and it's likely to pass just south of the Big Island here, but it does not need to make a direct impact on the Big Island to bring some big impacts with it. You can also see Hurricane Gilma well off to the east here. So let's dive into those details here, starting with the Tropical Storm Watch that is up for the Big Island, and you can see the official forecast tropical storm again just passing south of the Hawaiian Islands and maybe becoming a hurricane here as it passes south of Kauai. We'll see that. We'll look at some of the models here in a moment. Taking a look at the Honolulu National Weather Service Forecast Office Tropical Storm Watch again for the Big Island and surrounding waters. Tropical storm warning for all surrounding waters here, as you can see. So we get some interesting stuff rolling in here. We also have a flood watch here for the Big Island Saturday afternoon through Monday evening here. Some pretty extreme precipitation amounts could be impacting much of the island. And we also have the U.S. Air Force Hurricane Hunter on its way to Sampo Hone. It's going to give us some valuable information, and we'll get a better forecast built out of this probably as we go through the day. We'll get some new data for you on that. Now, taking a look at precipitable water, percent of normal. This kind of shows you what kind of impacts you can expect, or just that you can expect impacts away from the center, I should say. As you can see, it makes a close pass, but again, spreading huge amounts of moisture back up across the Hawaiian Islands and very complex interactions with just huge terrain features across the Big Island can cause some pretty extensive flooding and some very strong winds. And you can kind of see in the European system makes a little bit of a jog to the northwest. More on that here in a moment. You can also see Hurricane Gilma there, probably going to be weakening and then eventually maybe giving a little bit of a surge to moisture to the Hawaiian Islands. But again, let's stick to what's at hand here. Definitely the tropical storm Hone as it passes to the south is the big story. Taking a look at Hone is right about here, and you can see a wind shear that is at least a semi-permanent feature here across some of the Hawaiian Islands, and it can save Hawaii from getting impacted by some hurricanes sometimes. But this thing largely stays as far as wind shear is concerned. It stays kind of wind shear free until it gets right up towards the islands there. Then it starts to get impacted a bit here. So, it may be too late, and the water is a bit warmer once you start to get south of the Hawaiian Islands right in here. So, again, this might flare up, and the wind shear could be weakened. It's still kind of a complex forecast that we are dealing with right now. Taking a look at the sea surface temperature, this goes all the way from July into August. You can kind of see the circulation of the Pacific Ocean goes from this way and it drops down out the northwest across the west coast of North America, and you can see that cooler water spill out towards the Hawaiian Islands. So when systems approach from the east, they're not dealing with that warmer water here, so they tend to struggle a bit. The real threat to the Hawaiian Islands is when they remain a bit south and then turn north. So they stay over that warmer water, then turn north, and they can really impact the Hawaiian Islands, especially like Iniki did in 1992. So if we take a look at the infrared satellite imagery, at least the simulated upcoming here, you can see the system making its way towards the Hawaiian Islands there, and you see it develops a little bit of an eye even as it passes south of the Big Island and encounters some warmer water there. But you can also see the wind shear working on the system here also. So kind of a cat and mouse game, kind of a complex forecast. Sometimes these systems can really get ripped apart and weaken quite dramatically as they do approach the Hawaiian Islands. We'll be watching that one. That would be the best case scenario for the islands, because even not making a direct impact, this is probably going to have big impacts if it does make its way south of the islands still as a tropical storm. And this is in one way, maximum individual wave heights. You can see big slug of wave action here rolling in here as we go through the day Saturday and continuing on in through Monday before Hone moves off to the west there. And then you can see a Gilma maybe bringing a little bit of a bump here, but not too big of a deal with that one. Now, closer look here, you get the significant wave height direction of the swell as well and the wave action. And you can see this, again, a pretty close pass, bringing some increased wave action across much of the Hawaiian Islands there. You really got to be careful if you're a mariner out on the boats there as you go through, really through Friday night on in through Saturday. And then we're continuing on through Sunday, and things start to get back towards normal as you head on in towards Monday night and then eventually Tuesday morning. Now, taking a look at the GFS model guidance, pretty good model guidance really between the GFS, the European, and the Canadian, showing the system mainly staying south of the Hawaiian Islands. Here's the European. This is yesterday afternoon's, and this is the Canadian. Again, really good model agreement with the track of this storm coming up. The intensity is a little bit different here. You can see a lot of the models have it remaining as a tropical storm, but if you do have it moving into category 1, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Now this is taking a look at the GFS. I want to kind of show you here this system moving to the south here. And again, big winds ripping through some of the channels here. Some of the coastal waters here are just going to be absolutely crazy here if this storm remains a tropical storm or even a hurricane as it passes the Hawaiian Islands to the south. As you can see there, just want to draw attention to that. Other islands are at risk. It's not just the big island. Taking a look at accumulated max 10-meter wind gusts, this is the European, and it kind of shows you the path of this storm. Let me just back this up a little bit here, and we'll replay through this. Go back and forth there. But this is not a high-resolution model either. It does show the track of the storm, though, potentially bringing some tropical storm force winds to portions of the Big Island. And again, gusty winds across many of the islands here. You see some of these gusts up towards 47 miles per hour, maybe even a little higher for some of Oahu, Molokai, Lanai out there, and Maui. And through the channels, it's going to be kind of crazy here as well. And I'll show you another model that shows what's more likely to happen across some of the big islands, because again, the European probably not picking up on the extent of some of the winds across some of the higher islands, including some of the Saddle Road. Now taking a look at the HAFS, this is a bit higher resolution, and this is 10-meter wind gusts. So as this passes the Big Island, look at some of these winds across the higher terrain. Again, could be including some portions of the Saddle Road here, and again, South Point. These are some lower elevations down here, showing some gusts up over 70 miles per hour. And if we continue to scroll through, you can see some actually pretty strong winds. Look at West Maui. Was that Kapalua there? 52 miles per hour, and some strong winds across some of the south shore of Maui as well. So yeah, very interesting stuff here. It can be pretty dynamic. We'll see how this goes. Now, if we take a look at the HWRF, this is a higher resolution look at the composite reflectivity. So there you see the Big Island coming. Here comes the storm. And you can see on the north side, you got some pretty potent showers here. And of course, you're going to be doing some serious lifting there as it moves up the higher terrain of the Big Island. Huge precipitation amounts likely incoming, especially if this thing remains a well-organized tropical storm or hurricane as it passes off to the south. But you see the really torrential, nasty stuff looks like it's just going to hang out south of South Point there. So we have to watch this closely. You know, pretty crazy looking there. Now, looking at the European, this is total precipitation in inches. And again, this is not a high resolution model. So you'll clearly see the slug of moisture move in here. And look at some of these totals for the Big Island. You could be looking at 10, 12 plus inches or even higher for some individual locations. Haleakala on Maui getting some big amounts, and some of the windward sides of Oahu, Molokai, and Kauai also getting big amounts as we move through the 90-hour time frame here. This would be about Monday afternoon. As you can see, the center of the storm moving off to the west there. This is the official tropical storm wind speed probability. So just clipping South Point, you're looking at what it's talking about, maybe 40 to 60% there. But you can see you could get some of these higher gusts across the rest of the island chain as well. And this is from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center there. So if you need to check back on a daily basis or on a 6-hourly basis, they put out new updates every 6 hours here, and you can visit the discussion here. You can check out the wind speed probabilities, the arrival time of winds, as well as you can see Saturday a.m. versus Saturday p.m. here, and for Kauai Sunday a.m. So yeah, we'll be watching this closely. And if things continue to look crazy, I may do another video tomorrow or the following day. Actually, tomorrow is Saturday, so I probably will put one out tomorrow. If this looks like it's going to remain a tropical storm as it passes close to South Point, I will do another video tomorrow, because we have a lot of people here across the Pacific Northwest and the state of California that fly out to the Hawaiian Islands. I have family that lives out there across the Hawaiian Islands. I have a lot of friends. I used to work at Hawaiian Airlines and Island Air out there, so I'm pretty well versed on these tropical storms here. And on that, I've seen some of these systems just get absolutely ripped apart and demolished really quickly here. So maybe that will be the case. But of course, we did have a tropical storm hit the Big Island a few years ago, and these can have big impacts across the islands, even well away from the center of the system. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. I will do my normal briefings tomorrow, and most likely another Hawaii special weather watch for tomorrow morning also, because that'll be just on, tropical storm will be much closer to the Hawaiian Islands in 24 hours. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.